DragonBone Dynasty. It's the Dynasty of DragonBones, not just regular DragonBones. No, this is so it's an autopath game, but don't give this one a chance. I think this is one of the better autopath games. So I feel like it actually has something going for it, but so it's very Chinese inspired, in case you haven't guessed, and well, I shouldn't say Chinese inspired, but rather maybe made in Japan, or not Japan, you idiot, China. But so with that comes this really rough translation that I think is absolutely hilarious, but unintentionally, but it's still pretty, it's not really a knock against it. So it's horribly translated. Well, not horribly translated. It's like someone was given the translation sheet and was just like, I don't know, this probably makes sense, right? And then, but nobody actually read it in the context of the game and then make it make sense that way. If that makes any sense of what it's like, it was a 1-to-1 translation, and no one ever did like any QA testing on whether or not this would be acceptable. But it's not. But I'm done. So it's funny at the very least. So it kind of operates in the way that you would expect. It's an autopath game, right? But it does have this interesting thing with the combat system. It's not super interesting. I'm not saying this is like a savior to like the game to make you want to play it or anything, but it does it alleviates the boredom of determining whether or not this game is worth your interest. Generally, no, but at least it has a little bit more heart to it than a lot of these games. Like whoever wrote the original narrative or whatever it is, I feel like they actually put some effort into it, which is unusual. Like you'll see here in a little bit. It's a funny situation. It works. It actually had this sitcom kind of feel to it, which was so jarring considering these games I feel like are always shovelware, but then this isn't. Well, no, this is, but it's not as much. So that's enough about that. So I don't really need to touch on the gameplay aspects, because it every single one of these games has pretty much the same level of production quality. It has very flashy looking graphics at a glance. Take screenshots, it's gonna look pretty good, but actually playing it is nauseating, literally nauseating. Oh, but look at that, I summoned this guy. I summoned him. I have the famed Chinese warrior general that slaughtered thousands on the battlefield, and now I'm gonna use him. I'm gonna call him from the dead to destroy these 3 seagulls, or whatever they are. These 3 weird looking colorful birds. So admittedly, okay, yes, it has 1 to 2 frames of animation per cycle. A cycle means a movement or something like that. But at the very least, they get every cycle in there. So the return from attacking cycle of he has a sword and he kind of dashes back. At the very least, they put in half an ounce of effort to get that. A lot of these games don't do that, and that irks me so much. But this did okay. Okay. So here it is. So my character was you know what? This is going too fast. I'm out. I quit. I don't want to do it. And then your whole family is your whole family's hey, congratulations, man. Good luck on your army thing. I can't wait to see you when you come back, But the whole time, I don't know why it's so funny, but and the whole time they're just yo, good luck, and he's just no. But he never gets his word. If you put this kind of scenario in any other media, I would have been rolling my eyes and scoffing at how cliche it is, or whatever, tropey. But for some reason, in the context of this autopathing game, it was just so refreshing to actually go through one of these narrative sequences, not be bored out of my mind. At least it has a little something to keep me interested. And now I'm kind of dealing with like, I'm supposed to be in the army. Oh yeah, I get like another Chinese general dude, but like he actually follows me around, or not physically following me around in the game world, but like in combat. There he is, and like he's like you'll see he's got like the royal fur, the ancient bow and arrow, and he's like following around this dweeb that's like 17 years old and like, you know, dumb. You see him in the background there? He's got like the dragon bow and arrow, the hide from the mythical beast, and then the helm is the head of, you know, his rival kingdom's king. Right, and then I'm over here, and I've got like a dumb looking scarf, a dumb looking sword, and I'm trying to run away from the army. It's just such a weird mismatch of characters. It's like, you know, I imagine a lot of people did this when they were younger, but when you kind of like are like doing like some kind of fantasy, I don't know, I can't even think of the word for it, but you know, you kind of like, I can't even. I sound like such an idiot right now because I keep tripping over my words and I can't come up with it. But essentially, I just thought it was silly to have like the super cool looking character next to your character, which is super lame, you know. So that was weird. So it feels like some kind of weird, like I said, weird sitcom kind of situation there. Oh yeah, and then everybody dies, and then you come back, and I actually forget. But it was kind of interesting. So that's why I think this game kind of has that going for it, its whole story aspect, which was surprisingly interesting and actually did keep my attention. And like, I almost feel blasphemous for saying this, but I actually kind of wanted to see more. So see, all your family's dead next to these weird ass looking creatures, which is cool. I like the weird ass looking creatures. That's what it was. Okay, so I was like, what was it about that scene that was so weird? And then I just remembered they have this super serious, somber, you know, situation where his whole family is dead, and he left. And then it has like these little crying emojis right over their head. Completely ruins the ambiance, right? So that was silly. This whole game is silly. See, look at that thing. What the hell is that? I love that. I love the freaky looking, like, you can't even come up with this in your imagination kind of creature design. It's just such a shame that, like, the system is in place to where, or they're following, like, this framework or system or game engine where they have to, like, take screenshots of these 3D models, right? I don't know much about the behind the scenes for these kind of titles. I'm almost certain by this point that that's what it is that they have to physically take a screenshot of every single frame of animation that they want and then import it into these games, which is completely on a 2D plane. So it's not just 3D characters that are animated poorly. It's maybe they're just limited. It's one of two things. They're limited by how many frames they can physically have on each cycle, or number two, the more likely scenario in my opinion, is that they're just lazy and they're only going to take a couple frames per, since there's so many different characters in the game and different animations and cycles and what have you. But if you're going to go through all the trouble of making these great looking 3D models, then why let them go to waste? Or why not find a better engine where you can use your 3D models in your 2D world? Because it can happen. I'm pretty sure it can. You'd probably, if you wanted the 2D world, you would have to get a little bit creative, but otherwise, and like, surely the browser-based specification isn't a problem either, because RuneScape had RuneScape 2 operating since like what, 2001? Are you saying you can't put a 3D character in a 3D world just like they did almost a decade and a half ago? That's just ridiculous. But regardless, but I could be completely off base and way at, like, not even close to, you know, not even close to what's actually going on. But it does look pretty good, I gotta admit. This is definitely one of the better autopathers. I didn't feel like I was just autopathing in between grinding. I was actually autopathing in between narrative sequences, which is pretty cool. Which actually makes sense for autopath then in that case, because then you're just moving from sequence to sequence like a story. So I think this is definitely one of the better ones, but that's about it. Thanks for watching.